From large corporations to mom and pop businesses, most have a website. But did you know your website could be a sitting duck for a lawsuit that could cost you tens of thousands of dollars? Business websites, just like the physical locations, are required under the Americans with Disabilities Act to be accessible.
And that includes customers who are blind or deaf.
Businesses hit by a record wave of lawsuits in connection with Americans with a Disability Act. In particular, lawsuits that allege websites are not ADA compliant. 1,000 such lawsuits actually filed this year alone, just so far this year, 2018. More this year than in all of 2017.
Navy veteran has filed more than 120 lawsuits against city and county governments and businesses saying their websites are not accessible to people like him. That's because those websites don't work with screen reader programs.
A new twist in a KXAN investigation about an attorney who has filed hundreds of lawsuits against Austin businesses.
We told you about attorney Omar Rosales. He filed the lawsuits with one client accusing businesses of technical violations of the Americans with Disabilities Act.
But KXAN investigator Kevin Schwaller found the lawyer is now targeting websites.
Hello, I'm Amy from SiteCompliance.io. Are you a physician, medical professional, or own a healthcare-related business? If so, I want to ask you 3 very important questions that could save you tens of thousands of dollars in fines this year from a law you probably don't even know existed. First, do you know if your medical website is breaking the law? Second, did you hear about the Supreme Court decision that changed everything when it comes to website compliance and has already gotten major healthcare companies like CAC Florida Medical Centers, HCA Holdings Incorporated, Tenet Healthcare, and WellPoint Incorporated slapped with massive lawsuits? And third, is your medical practice prepared to pay out up to $110,000 in fines and tens of thousands of dollars in settlements? What am I talking about? I'm talking about the ADA Title III compliance regulations pertaining to your website. And if you believe that ADA Title III web accessibility regulations don't apply to your healthcare website, think again. The healthcare industry is of major importance to Americans with a disability. Therefore, ADA Title III non-compliance could land your practice or healthcare business in front of countless serious fines. Yep. Just like your physical location, your website must now meet ADA Title III regulations and be accessible to all users, especially those with disabilities like deafness or blindness. And yes, this covers solo and group practices, hospitals, clinics, surgery centers, dental offices, chiropractic offices, med spas, and every other healthcare-related business or program. You see, the Supreme Court decision made on October 7, 2019 in the case of Robles versus Domino's made it clear your website must be ADA Title III compliant, and if it isn't, you could face fines and penalties of up to $55,000 for the first offense and up to $110,000 or more for every offense thereafter. That's not including any court fees, attorney fees, and potential settlement amounts. And the average settlement amount in 2019 was estimated to be around $25,000. Oh, and if your medical practice or healthcare-related business is in California, well, then you get a special $4,000 additional fine per complaint filed, as your non-compliant website can now also be held liable under the UNRRA Civil Rights Act. Here are a few stats you need to know. 1. 2019 saw a 300% rise in lawsuits filed against ADA Title III non-compliant websites. 2. There was an estimated 10,000 lawsuits filed in 2019 alone, with an estimated 40,000 demand letters sent to local businesses. And now, it is currently estimated that there is 1 new lawsuit being filed against ADA Title III non-compliant websites every hour. 3. Hundreds of the largest healthcare businesses, hospitals, and clinics around the U.S. have already been sued for having websites that were non-accessible to their patients with disabilities. And those stats came out before the Supreme Court made its decision, a decision which has now caused predatory law firms to leap into action on an unprecedented scale. Physicians, medical groups, hospitals, surgery centers, solo practitioners, and other healthcare-related businesses have just become the prime targets for these predatory law firms. But if you think your website compliance liability stops at ADA Title III compliance, think again. As of January 1st, 2020, new web privacy and advertising laws went into effect. That's right, in addition to ADA Title III compliance lawsuits, businesses are being heavily sued and are coming under fire for having web compliance policies that are not legally compliant. Most of these policies were created by using those free online policy generators or policy plugins. As many healthcare businesses are quickly finding out, these policies made by generators and plugins are in reality not compliant with the actual laws. Since most web developers are unaware of these new privacy laws due to them hardly being publicized and very little information being shared through the web development community, most websites created over the past few years have innocently been using these non-compliant policy generators. I know what you're thinking. But I didn't know. The problem is, I didn't know doesn't stand up in court. So what can you do? Well, there are two options. The first is you can hire an overpriced remediation firm that will charge you thousands of dollars per page of your website to make it ADA Title III compliant and take months to remediate it. And that's if you can find a firm who can take your medical practice on. Yeah, a lot of businesses, especially medical practices and healthcare businesses, are trying to get compliant. And they are trying to get compliant now. Meaning, aside from paying a fortune, you will probably have to wait in a very long line. Or, you can simply let the web compliance experts at sitecompliance.io help you bring your practice or healthcare-related website up to compliance in about 5 minutes at a mere fraction of the cost, without you having to make any changes to your website. You see, sitecompliance.io has proudly partnered exclusively with the medical consulting experts at JBM Medical Group to offer custom-tailored compliance packages specifically tailored to the needs of healthcare professionals and their websites. As a healthcare professional, you probably already know how JBM Medical Group leads the way with their expert thought leaders, strategic planning, and out-of-the-box thinking. The team at sitecompliance.io knew that by working closely with JBM Medical Group, we have found the best partners to bring ADA Title III and web policy compliance into the healthcare space where it's needed so urgently. You see, sitecompliance.io has created a simple, super easy to install technology that can bring your website up to 90% compliant today. All you have to do is take a single line of code, place it on your website, and our accessibility widget will instantly add all the features you need to become up to 90% compliant. Wait, up to 90% compliance? Don't I need to be 100% compliant? Well, while being 100% compliant should be your aim, the courts understand that sometimes it simply isn't possible to become 100% compliant with the technology available today or on the budget of most small businesses. What the courts want to see is proof that your healthcare business is taking drastic and immediate action to bring your site up to the highest compliance standards possible to provide an accessible web experience for your patients and clients. That's where the sitecompliance.io accessibility widget really shines. Sitecompliance.io took the most important of the compliance regulations, the ones targeted in most of the lawsuits, and put them all into one simple tool. This tool then instantly fixes the most critical compliance issues on your website, thus dropping your liability in mere seconds. Implementing this code is so simple that you don't even need a web developer to do it for you. If you do have a web developer, however, just send it to them with our instructions and they should have it up and running in no time. And if you plan on having your web developer install the code, we have provided additional developer-specific compliance resources and checklists, along with additional steps they can take to help bring your website up to an even higher level of compliance quickly. And what about the policies? Well, sitecompliance.io takes care of those too. And thanks to partnering with JBM Medical Group, we have compiled all the necessary website policy documents that a healthcare business or practice would need to achieve compliance. When you purchase your website compliance package through this exclusive partnership with JBM Medical Group, we give you all the mandatory policies you need for your website. Unlike those free generators, our policies are drafted by attorneys and a certified information privacy professional with the highest level of certification granted by the International Association of Privacy Professionals. Our policies comply with the January 1st, 2020 privacy laws, requirements, and mandates. In essence, thanks to sitecompliance.io and JBM Medical Group, you can now get everything you need to make your website up to 90% compliant and drastically reduce your practice's legal liabilities and risk of lawsuits, all in one place, at one time, and at a fraction of the cost. Just think how much you would save from avoiding even one lawsuit against your practice or healthcare business by taking preemptive action today. Preventative medicine is the best medicine, right? Well, right now, you have the opportunity to take the necessary measures to protect your business before you get sued with outstanding fines and settlement fees. If sitecompliance.io was able to save you and your business from even one compliance lawsuit, your investment into your website's compliance would have paid for itself many times over. So if you are ready to help protect your healthcare business or practice and make sure you are compliant under the new laws and regulations, continue reading down this page and choose the compliance package that best suits your needs. Sitecompliance.io and JBM Medical Group look forward to helping your healthcare business become compliant today.